truth.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. I'm Arby Piper. This is the Piper Academy Network, and you guys are the alumni joining us here. I appreciate everyone that's in the chat right now. Guys, we've got a lot of red on the markets right now. Matter of fact, take a look here at the stock market on the open, all red across the board. The only thing that is green right there, that would be your VIX, guys, and we're watching that thing. It's a 27.59% right now. We are watching to see if that is going to give us some nasty levels of volatility today, guys. We've also got big earnings reports today. Meta is in that list, a couple of other ones, but yeah, we got to be very aware. Lots of volatility this week. We talked about it on Monday, that with all of the earnings reports, all of the economic data that was coming out this week, and the ongoing tariff war, that we could very likely see a lot of volatility. And man, are we getting it? We just had some new economic data that just came in. So we're going to get in here and just break all this stuff down, tell you guys what's going on with the markets today. But I will give you a little bit of hopium. There's a crypto person out there calling for $1 million Bitcoin in 2028. We're going to talk about that and a lot more today on the Morning Market Report. Guys, you know what time it is. Let's get it. Class is in session. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Crypto, we about to, you know what? That's right. XYZ in the house with us right now. Usernames in here. Alexander G, the Mod Queen. D Loon, I think I said that right. I said good day all. How you doing there? Welcome. I'm not sure I've seen you here before. Are you new here? Welcome to the alumni. Welcome to the academy. Ahsoka Tano. I nailed it. Yes. Money. There you go. Cool. What's up? How you doing? Robert Mulligan's in the house with us. VC Port Corp, the host of Good Morning Crypto here on the Piper Academy Network. Eric Ballin Wallen. Thumbnail's kind of dirty today. It's holy balls, man. Holy balls. Got that GDP. Had to throw the Alexander G emoji on that thing. Shout out to CJ Taylor, my brother in the house right now. Keith, Crypto Coin Mindset. We're going straight over to his show right after today's show, so you guys stay tuned for that. Bakoshi No Dinero in the house with us. Harp's in here. Anybody that I missed? Crypto Alt Delete, shout out to you. He said hi. How you doing? We're gonna break down some stuff for you today, bro. Jesse Gellick in here with us. Get lucky. And then Ada Ace, he said, okay, time for bullish news and be a contrarian show. Do it. No, I will not be contrarian. I will only give you guys the facts and only the facts and the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
If that's you, then I'm sorry, man. I gotta be honest with everybody and tell them what's really going on. And then Ninja Glock, Max H in here also joining us. Appreciate you guys. But you know who's here? Mexican Superman. Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's a burrito and tights. Holy smokes. Well, there he is. OC guy. How you doing, bro?
Oh, doing fantastic. I don't know why, but I mean, it just cracked me up. By the way, you know what was the last time I ate a burrito? Like
when?
2 years ago, man.
No kidding. I thought burritos and tacos. No, I'm joking. Tortas. You guys eat a lot of tortas. I love a good torta.
Yeah, in tacos also.
Yes.
Tacos also. I mean,
and tacos.
All right. I don't want to talk about the whole Mexico thing, but what is it? The South Mexico here. It's more about tortas and tacos, right? So burrito might be more up in the south, right in the border.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, the burrito really was so that they could put all of the stuff in it that they had made for food, wrap it up in something that the farmers and stuff could take out with them, and then they could take it out and eat it, and it wasn't a mess. It was like a folded plate for them. So yeah, that's a farm region food for sure in Mexico. But what am I telling you that for? You know all this. The viewers, you guys just learned something new. So, OC, are you sure you're Mexican? BC Port Corp said, yeah, burritos are from North Mexico, Zinzin said, exactly. All right, man. We got a lot of data to break down today. Plus, we got an Apollo report, guys. You know who Apollo Global Finance is? They do a quarterly report. We got a hold of their report. And man, are they... You think I'm bearish? Wait till you see the Apollo report, guys. But yeah, let's go get into it. Let's talk about that. What that means. I need to get my live stream up here on my phone so I can monitor you guys. There we go. Cool. I just saw that thumbnail. It is kind of a dirty thumbnail. You right, Ballin' Wallen. All right, let's go get into the news, guys, and let's talk about what we're seeing here. And then we'll get into the thing. Actually, let's go to the chart first. I want to talk about the Bitcoin chart, what I'm seeing right now. And then we'll get into the actual news. So let's take a look at this chart, guys. We are getting support down here again. Look at the wick bounce. This is our hopium line right here, 382, the $93,000 range, 93,000, 94. We actually did come down and break 93,000 on this candle, but we are getting a lot of sell-off right now. Let's take a look at the oscillator pushing down to the zero line. Man, if there was a line in the sand for hopium, it's right here. We're on the zero line for the oscillator. We are on a key level of fib support right now that we tested back here on Sunday. So this is it. If we lose this, guys, very likely coming down to the 100-day, 200-day, and the dynamic reactor all coming into this strong range right here. Matter of fact, if you even want to add a little more confluence to it, bam, boom shakalaka. There you go. That would be I got to get the boom shakalaka. That would be your fair value gap coming off of the Market Dynamics Pro from Chart Prime. Nice fair value gap overlapping right in the middle here with that 100-day, 200-day, and dynamic reactor. Also, that would be a level right here. That's your gold band from your predictive ranges. So that's what I'm watching right now. If we lose this 382, which I think we're going to come down to this range, and this is going to be the range to watch. That's coming in right around that 90,000 to 89,000. And we will take a look at the heat map and see what that's looking like in that range. Also, I will point out on the 4-hour right now, money flow is kind of flat and the volume is dropping very sharply here. This is a volume cloud on our Oscillator Pro. So Chart Prime for the win, man. It's giving us these plays all day long, printing money with Chart Prime. All right, let's go jump over into the news now, guys, and we'll talk about what we're seeing there on the news side of the world. News, all the news. It's fit to be news. Let's take a look into the Cryptoverse here. Link down below if you guys are interested in getting this, but they have some great metrics on the analytical side. Looking at the crypto market cap right now, we're at $2.9 trillion. Trend line on that is about $3.775 trillion for the average median. That means currently the total crypto market is undervalued by 23%. Let's look at Bitcoin's risk levels today. It's at 53.2%, meaning that we would be in a DCA times 2 level there, and then Bitcoin dominance, guys, with stables and without stables. With stable coins, we're sitting at about 63.34%. Take those stables away, Bitcoin is sitting at about 68.8% there on the Bitcoin dominance. Let's jump over and check out the Fear and Greed Index. Right now, we're at 56, currently sitting in greed. The Fed's worst nightmare, guys. Let's talk about some stuff here on X. The Fed's worst nightmare just got worse. New data showed that the U.S. GDP that came in this morning contracted by negative 0.3%. We saw some things from Atlanta Reserve Now, the Atlanta Fed Reserve Now, talking about this, and they were saying like 1.5, 1.7 with gold calculated in there. A little bit better than what they were projecting. But I did have a feeling that this was going to be a negative GDP. We've been talking about it for at least a month here on the show, and it did come in at a negative GDP, negative 0.3. That means the economy shrunk. Didn't slow down, it shrunk, and that is not a good sign at all. We were expecting a 0.3% positive growth. We got a negative contraction. So to make things worse, the GDP price index surged to 3.7%. It was its highest level since August 2023. What does this mean? This means that the cost of goods went up while the amount we sold went down. And that is never a good sign. What does Powell do now? Let's go check this out and talk about this thread. Let's go. Annualized U.S. GDP growth came in at negative 3% this morning, below the expectation. This marks the first negative reading since quarter 2, 2022. Just 4 months ago, GDP was expected to be growing by over 3% for quarter 1. We've seen a massive shift in the economic output there. You guys can see we were at 1.6, 3%, 3.1, 2.4, bam, negative 3% to the downside there. So not good. Treasury yields are surging with the 10-year note yield up almost 10 basis points from its pre-data release low. Why are rates rising in an economy that is shrinking? The markets know that stagflation has arrived, and we've talked about stagflation here a lot on the table with you guys. We've been talking about this. The Fed is facing the lose-lose situation they thought would never arrive, and it gets even worse. Take a look at the PCE price index, which surged 3.7% in quarter 1. This is above the expectation of 3.1%, up from the 2.6 that we previously saw. This means that prices are going up while we are also getting, this means inflation is going up while we're also getting contracting economy, and the stocks are falling sharply on that data. Let's go over and let's take a look, see if there's anything else on my X marks the spot today. We'll come back and talk about that. We'll talk about inflation. Yep. Okay, cool. Let's move over here. Let's talk about the liquidations here, guys. Past 24 hours, 161,192 traders got liquidated in the past 24 hours. Total liquidations came in at $370 million. Somebody on OKX had a Bitcoin trade that got liquidated for $5 million. So shout out to you, dude. Looking at the crypto bubbles here in the red, let's talk about these prices. Bitcoin's currently sitting at about 93,256. That's right there near that line that we were talking about on my fibs, right? That's coming in at like $93,094. So we're pretty close to that right now. Ethereum's down 3.8%. XRP's down 5.6. BNB's down 1.5. Solana's down 4.3 at 141. Dogecoin's down 5%. 5% for Cardano, sitting at 67 cents. I'm sorry, Ada, you lost that 70 cents there. SWI is down 5.7, but still up hard for the week, man. Shout out to Crypto Trades. He likes those things that are up hard. SWI is now sitting there up 11.8% for the weekly still, despite a 5.7 downturn. Chainlink, very far off from $800, sitting just under $14, down 6.6%. And I think that's about it. On average, 3 to 5% is the downside move today. No big movers here moving up or down in the market cap. Let's go check out the stocks side here and look at the Dow Jones. It's currently down 1.71%. The S&P is down 1.82. NASDAQ is down 2.32, and the Russell 2K down 2.43%. The VIX at 27.26. If this thing breaks 30, we could see even more volatility today and sell off. So be aware. Be aware. Did we get, what happened here? We got a new member. We got Dylan VA joined. Welcome to the alumni. We're glad to have you here, man. Appreciate you joining. Also, guys, if you don't know, we now have a new membership level on the Discord, on the YouTube here. The $4.99 membership that you guys have right now, that actually gives you access to everything on our Discord. The DCA Piper plan, all of that good stuff, all included with your membership for $5 a month. We dropped the prices by 75%. So, Dylan, make sure you get over there. And then also, we have an emoji support, which will give you access to all the emojis. If you don't want the Piper plan, you don't care about getting a good portfolio plan to dollar cost average and take profits, that's not your forte. You just want Rib Chat, 99 cents. There you go. So now you can get emojis in the chat for 99 cents. We gave you guys another level. We dropped that price too. So there you go. Let's go talk about what we're seeing on the economy side, guys. We just got new data coming in at the top of the hour here. So awesome. Good job, dude. Good job, 8 A's. He said he sold. It's okay. So this morning, guys, we did get a change in the mortgage rate. 30-year mortgage rate actually dropped by, 0.1%. Not bad. Okay. So we got that to drop down there a little bit. The MBA mortgage applications, though, guys, was at -12. It's now still at -4. Some new mortgage applications is dropping also. I want to put this on 2 because I don't want all this noise. I want the facts, guys. Here we go. ADP employment change. So looking at ADP employment change, it was at 147K. This is actually a revision from 155K. So they cut down those numbers from last month. We were expected to see 115K to 110K, guys. We got 62. This is bad. This means shrinking labor market, weakening, right? Then we had GDP growth quarter over quarter was at 2.4. They thought it was going to be 0.3, even as high as 0.5, came in -0.3. We just talked about that, so I'm not going to go too much into that. Stagflation for sure, DDT. That's what we're seeing here, man. Employment costs, check this out, was at 0.8. Forecast to be 0.8, came in at 1.2. So they're paying people more right now. However, I don't know how long that's going to last. If companies are showing what they're showing on earnings, you'll see that here in the Apollo report here in a little bit. Employment cost wages, that actually went down a little bit. Benefits is what went up. So what is this employment cost for benefits quarter over quarter? That would be insurance. We know one of the biggest inflationary items that we've been seeing is your insurance. I'm sure everyone that is watching right now has seen their auto insurance and their homeowner's insurance go up. Put a 1 in the chat if that's happened to you in the last 12 months. Guess what? That also equates to benefits costing more for businesses. That's why we're seeing benefits go up, but we saw wages drop. Okay. So employment costs overall staying about static with what it was previously. Now, we just got data at the top of the hour here, came in at 8 o'clock my time, 10 a.m. This is core PCE. Core PCE came in flat. This is your big one that the Fed looks at for inflation. So didn't see a decrease on it. It was expected to be 0.1 lower than what it was previously, which is a revision. That 0.5 was a 0.4. So it went up. Very likely could see that this does come up next month, also putting it at that 0.1. So keep that in mind. And then personal income dropped. It was at 0.7, came down to 0.5. Personal spending was at 0.5, went up to 0.7. People are still buying. Why? Because they're trying to beat the tariffs and they're getting stuff that they think that they need, especially on the durable goods side, things that last longer than 3 years. They're trying to get it before they see the price increases from tariffs. PCE price index month over month was flat, and then PCE year over year came in at 2.3, down a little bit. So we are seeing the inflation start to calm down, but that could very quickly change in months ahead. We're looking at like June is going to be the really bad time, in my opinion. Tomorrow, guys, we're going to get ISM manufacturing. It is expected to be down. Slow down of production, right? Initial jobless claims expected to be higher tomorrow, and then ISM manufacturing employment expected to be down slightly. Friday, we're going to get non-farm payrolls expected to be way the F down, and then unemployment rate expected to be flat. I'm betting that this comes in at 4.3. I really am. We'll have to wait and see. Looking at this, guys, so what does this mean for the, Jerome Powell and the Fed Reserve? Are they coming in to save us? Let's go check out what they're saying on this data right now. No, 92.2% chance right now. This just went up again. No change. Rate pause. Not going to see any rate cuts in May. That's May 7th. That's about 1 week from now. Looking here, though, at June, we have a 35.2% chance of a rate change, of no change, I mean. We have a 64.8% chance of a rate cut coming in June, and we will have to see if that number starts changing, because there was a time that May had a very strong likelihood of a rate cut, and that changed as we got closer. Likely going to see that with June, in my opinion, if inflation is not in line. So recession likely means stocks have further to fall, according to Goldman Sachs. The stock market is starting to act like the worst of the tariff disputes is over, but investors may want to wait and see if the economy avoids a recession before jumping back in a bull market bandwagon, according to Goldman Sachs. The S&P has risen for 6 straight trading sessions and is now down less than 1% in April. It's actually a little bit more than that now. We just had a sell-off today, erasing almost all of its losses. But now Goldman Sachs macro strategist Vicky Chang says in the note to clients that the market could be following a pattern where less headline risk markets marks the bottom of the market rather than the economic low point, but that there are still reasons to be skeptical. And we're going to talk about some of those reasons that you need to be skeptical here real soon. We'll talk about this article in a bit. I want to go ahead and show this heat map, and we'll talk about this and see where we are in this. Then we'll kick it over to OC to show what he's seeing on the Bitcoin chart based on these levels of liquidation levels. So heat map, load for me. Thank you very much. All right, guys, we talked about this level down here in the 93s. I actually think that the hottest area is down here about 91. I am watching for us to come down to that zone. We still have a huge heat map that runs all the way up until about $100,000. And we talked yesterday about very likely to see for the next month a consolidation of Bitcoin in this range. That's what we're continuing to see. Even with this drop, we are still in line with this whole consolidation period of just sideways ranging, trading the buns on a hot dog there, as Alex O. Crypto would say. So, OC, let's go ahead and kick it over to you. Let's see what you have on your chart and what you're looking at on Bitcoin right now. Are we going to break out of this consolidation range? And what exactly are those heat map levels for you? That 90,000 bottom side, 100,000 top side. Do you think that we're going to stay in that range? What do you got for us, man?
Absolutely. So let's just review what we left out yesterday, right? We were having a up-ranging scenario in here at this point, and we have 2 areas of support. This channel was created all the way back somewhere around this area. I don't quite remember exactly where did I create it, somewhere around here. And then it has been acting as major support, right? Now, major support becomes, major support becomes new resistance, and so far, we have been trying to break it, right? technically we are above. We have broken, right? But if we just measure or average up also with this, well, then I would say that we're still within the resistance zone, right? So far, previous resistance now becomes new support, and we can see that we have two areas, two lines in here making an area. So if we start breaking this range, which we are at this point, look at that breakout range, and I can be a little bit more technical and also get rid of this very quickly so you can see it. So I'm going to be using a little bit of a better, more professional lining here. There we go. I think this is it. We are fighting to get into to get below this area. I don't think that could be happening because we can divide debate around what pattern this is. Remember, pattern morphology. This can be changing into many other things. This could also be a rising wedge. Still, rising wedges at the top usually are reversal signals. So we're fighting to hold this area. I don't think we're going to hold it. In fact, from yesterday, we called out a support at 91,938 or somewhere around this area, right where this line is. And finally, a better and a stronger support right here at 89,131 or somewhere around this area where we have this red box. Not only because of the 4-hour dynamic record could be coming strong here and we maybe could be faking through it, but also if we go to the daily, oh, man, okay, what up? Sorry about that. Can you guys still hear me? Can you hear me, Piper?
Yeah, you're good.
Perfect. So if we go to the daily here,
Sabotaged by the dog.
Yeah, he pulled out my wavelength cable, so it just went off flying. So right here we have not only a dynamic record from 4 hours, we also have dynamic record coming in strong from daily, and also we have lower broadening wedge, previous broadening wedge bottom right here, trend line coming over to that same area. So I think this is a mixed bag. I think we're going downwards, and the only question for me is going to be how low, right? I mean, are we just going to be stopping somewhere around 91 or 92, or are we going to be stopping around 88 or 89 ish? That's what I'm seeing on Bitcoin for now. But I also have a question for you, Piper. Maybe we can go to the dual cam. Perfect. So we were talking about yesterday about today's numbers, right? You were saying, you know what? I don't think that we're going to get good numbers. I think we're going to get bad numbers. So that means that this is not going to be good for the markets, right? And today in the morning, you said, well, it happened, not good numbers. Market is dumping. And I was like, well, any minute for crypto, right? But the actual question that I have for you, it is, all right, looking at the report, right, from this important institution, are we in a recession? Because last time when I said we are into a recession, you went and told me, well, technically not.
Not
we have
yet.
recessionary sex. Exactly. So
Not
what is
yet.
your take? Are we in a recession? Still waiting? How are the job numbers?
Well, let's talk about that, because I actually have a lot of data on that today that I want to break down, and it will show you guys where we are in comparison historically and when that timeline could be looking at it. But big shout out to Alex O Crypto joining us here in the chat. What's up, Alex O? We were just talking about you, bro. All good things. All good things. Let me reload that widget to give you guys your crypto stuff down there. There you go. There's your ticker. Yeah, let's go talk about that, OC, because there's a couple things here. First of all, I told this last night to Lunar Beaches on his live stream on Markets After Dark, but Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan has told investors last week in his newsletter that the best case outcome, guys, keywords there, the best case outcome right now is a recession for the United States, according to Wall Street Journal. That's his best case outcome. He's calling for a recession. What is the worst case outcome, you may ask? Well, that would be things like depression, stagflation. Like there's levels, there's layers of holy balls, okay? Layers of holy balls, Alexandra G, that we would see below us. If you guys want to throw holy balls there in the chat, because he's saying that the best case that we can expect right now would be a recession. So I want to go ahead and jump into the Apollo report since we're on this topic. And let's just talk about how are U.S. consumers and firms responding to the tariffs, okay? And this thing gets a little a little convoluted, so I'll try to keep it simple, guys. But this is just some anecdotes that came in the past week from some CEOs. Southwest Airlines said, I don't care if you all call it a recession or not. In this industry, that's a recession, talking about the current amount of travel and stuff that's cutting back. Chipotle said saving money because of concerns around the economy was the overwhelming reason that consumers are not going out to eat as often, right? PepsiCo said relative to where we were 3 months ago, we probably aren't feeling as good about the consumer now because they're just not spending money on unnecessary stuff for the most part. So let's talk about this. This is a breakdown that Apollo did based on the tariff timelines, where we are, and when they expect the economy to kick into a recession, okay? April 2nd was Liberation Day. Container departures from China to the U.S. are slowing rapidly. It takes 20 to 40 days for container ship transit time to the United States. That would put early May, which we talked about here on the show. I said May 9th is the earliest we would start to see the tariff impacted stuff come in. Early May, mid-May, container ships to U.S. ports come to a stop. That's it. That's the end of it, right? 1 to 10 days truck rail transit time to the city. So it takes about 1 to 10 days to, depending on where they are from the ports, for the goods to get there from this last run of shipments. By mid-May to late May, trucking demand will come to a halt because there's nothing to move, right? Empty shelves and companies will respond to lower sales. Selling will slow down. By late May, early June, layoffs in the trucking and retail industry will start to hit. They are projecting summer 2025, we are in a recession in the United States. And this is according to Apollo, that does a quarterly report on this stuff all the time. They got a lot of great charts in here that we're going to take a look at. So how are firms responding to the tariffs? Rapid downward revisions in earning expectations. And we're seeing that across the board right now with the earnings reports. Their projections, matter of fact, one of the companies could not even, it was Snap Tools, could not even give a projection. They said due to the uncertainty of the markets, we cannot even give an earning expectations for the next quarter, and their stock free-falled off of that news. So new orders are falling. CapEx, which is capital and expansion, meaning we have money and we're growing. This is our growth plan for our business. Those plans are falling, and then inventories are rising before the tariffs. We talked about that front loading that a lot of the companies are doing right now, buying what they can before they get into the tariff price line of stuff. So we are seeing right now, this is S&P 500 firms with higher, lower 12-month EPS revisions. This is their earnings projections, right? As a share of the total revisions. Sharpest decline in earnings outlook since 2020, guys. We haven't been this low since back here in 2020 for the projection of earnings. So they're calling for much lower earnings there across the S&P 500 firms. New orders are collapsing. You can see ISM new orders, manufacturing survey, and new orders outlook. Very sharp drop starting in 2025. There's the 2025 threshold right there behind my head. And you can see just a straight down line for Philadelphia, Dallas, Richmond, Kansas, New York, and ISM orders. So sharp reversal in corporate CapEx spending plans. They're not planning to expand right now. If we look at the CEO economic outlook survey, we look at the Philly Fed, New York Fed, Kansas Fed, Dallas Fed, and the NFIB, good time to expand. If we look at that, starting here again, right at the beginning of January, sharp drop, guys. Cost pressures increasing, the prices paid. Fed manufacturing surveys of prices paid versus PCE. This is rising. That would be inflation right there above my head. That's inflation there. I can't put my finger on it, but you guys can see it. It goes up. We go in here to new orders in contraction territory. In March, will it decline further in April? This is for March. We haven't seen April yet. This is declining. If we break this in April and do another leg down, guys, we're looking at 2020 type stuff here going on, okay? So that will be out in the next quarter, but we will see all this come out in May with the ISM manufacturing, so on and so forth. Inventories are rising. We talked about that. Why? Because they're trying to front load and get supplies in before the actual tariffs take effect. And then inventories rising. This is the manufacturing survey. Industries reporting growth inventories, again, going up because they're front loading the tariffs. What was the other one in here? There was another one that I wanted to talk about. Truck sales are down lower than what they as low as what they were anytime since 2020. So it's the lowest it's been since 2020. Nobody is buying the heavy trucks right now to move stuff. They're expecting that there's no reason to. It's going to slow down. A CEO confidence on the economy 1 year from now. This is how do CEOs of companies think the economy will be looking 1 year from now, guys? It's down at 50% on its threshold. We haven't been this low. Actually, this is lower than what we were in 2022, and we haven't been this low since back in the 2008 time period, guys. That would be the Great Recession. Logistics managers index is declining. China to U.S. trade coming to a stop. This is container ship count departures from China to the United States. This isn't expectations. This is current. It is dropping harshly. We're not at 2020 levels yet, though, but it is absolutely cutting down. When we hit that post March 9th or May 9th, which would be that 30 days from when tariffs started, this number will likely drop very hard. China to U.S. trade coming to a stop. This is the container ship tonnage. How much tonnage is on these ships, guys? They're empty containers. So this is looking horrible right now, too. Container freight rates are falling because why? There's not a big demand for shipping space, container space. So we're seeing that rate that they're charging to drop too. Tourism is slowing down, in particular international tourism. A lot of people are not taking traveling plans. And there was a couple of other things in here that I wanted to show. Consumers worried about losing their job. The 12-month economic expectation right now, almost 70% expect that there will be more unemployment in the next 12 months this year. And then record high shares of consumers think business conditions are worsening. Conditions in 1 year, almost at a record high here. Matt, actually, it is. This is a record high. This is worse than 2008. This is worse than 2000 and the 1990. It's worse than 82. So yeah, this is the highest level we've had for that expectations of businesses to be in a worse condition. Median inflation. Right now, it's not as high as what it was back in 22, but they are expecting in the next 12 months to see higher inflation coming in. And I think that's about it on here. Oh, consumers worried about their jobs, consumer confidence about the next 6 months. Employment and fewer jobs, that is also on a spike higher than what we saw in 2020. Hasn't been this high since the 2008 crash. So as you guys can see, a lot of economic data there in the Apollo report talking about what we could expect to see over the next 6 to 12 months, and none of it looks very good. The consumer sentiment right now is just at absolutely crushed levels. But how will this affect Bitcoin? Let's talk about that, okay? Bitcoin volatility right now is at its lowest level in 563 days. Arthur Hayes is predicting a $1 million Bitcoin by 2028. And we've seen that Bitcoin is holding its 200-day simple moving average much better than the stock markets, right? So when we look at that the mindset might be actually shifting over to a Bitcoin being a hedge against the inflation, or it being that digital gold narrative, doesn't need to be everybody thinking that. Right now, it does not exist. It's not a peer-to-peer tool. No one's really using it for that. There's from people. It's a generalized statement. Majority are not. But it's and it hasn't been adopted as not a risk asset being like gold, right? But we are seeing that Bitcoin is holding its range and consolidation very well. So let's talk about what Arthur Hayes is saying here, and let's talk about the lack of volatility that we are starting to see in Bitcoin. It's showing signs of maturity as a global financial asset, with price volatility dropping to its lowest level in more than 500 days. Volatility refers to the degree of variation of trading prices over time, which indicates uncertainty. That's that VIX thing we always talk about, right? The VIX, when it's going crazy in the stock market, typically affects Bitcoin. Haven't seen that volatility really play out. Weekly volatility hit a 563-day low on April 30th. That's today. Guys, hadn't been this low since like back in 2024 and then back in 2023. So we're back at this low. Now, is this about to bounce and we get another spike in volatility? Who knows? But as of right now, Bitcoin showing in a time of to have volatility, no volatility, or low volatility, I should say. Bitcoin decreasing volatility suggests that Bitcoin is maturing as a global financial asset, leading to a more stable price trajectory. Bitcoin is now the seventh largest asset globally by market capitalization. Gold, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, and Google sitting right above Bitcoin now. Bitcoin and Google been flip-flopping back and forth there for a while. Bitcoin exchange deposits have also seen a meaningful decline, which suggests reduced selling pressure and an uptick in conviction-driven custody behavior. Analysts from Bitfinex Exchange told Cointelegraph the divergence between price stability and shrinking exchange balances is critical, especially in a week following a $7.2 billion options expiration and heightened macro volatility, aka GDP negative, jobs not looking too strong there. The comments come a day after BlackRock Bitcoin exchange traded fund recorded $970 million worth of inflows, marking its second largest day of investment on record. So let's talk about Bitcoin to $1 million by 2028, according to Arthur Hayes. The recent market activity has reignited long-term bullish predictions. BitMEX co-founder Arthur Hayes said Bitcoin could hit $1 million by 2028, attributing the potential surge to aggressive monetary policy and rising institutional interest. It's time to go long everything, he says. I don't know that I would do that. Pause for effect. He was at a token 2049 in Dubai, so of course he's got to say some, noteworthy buzz things that get clips, right? Clickbait. Don't worry, Bitcoin is going to 1 million by 2028, attributed to the upcoming rally and more money printing from the U.S. Treasury. So let's go talk about that, OC. I don't know that we're going to see money printing too soon. I think it will come later in the year, but that would still be in line for a 2028 rally on Bitcoin to get everyone back in. I want the Alexander G. Hart emoji back. Well, BC, I had to put things in there that take away things. I'm sorry. OC, your thoughts on this? Are we going to see a $1 million Bitcoin? Is it realistic to say that Bitcoin could be at $1 million by 2028?
Yes and no. All right. Here's my
and that's the end of the show, guys. Thanks for joining. No.
Where are we going? Up or down? That's it. Let's go. No, this is my take. All right. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Is it realistic? I don't think so with the current market conditions. I mean, 2020, we are 2025. We're talking about 3 years from now, one more cycle. Remember that we're hardly making it above 100K since last cycle that we were talking about, 69. Remember last cycle, we were expecting somewhere around, what was it that everybody was expecting? 200?
200,000, yep.
200,000. 200,000, right? And now we haven't even got it, right? And I mean, I even have an article here that says, all right, over 85% of Bitcoin holders are in profit. Is Bitcoin top near? I mean, that is also a question that we need to start asking ourselves. Also, remember the previous episodes from the Morning Market Report, Piper has been talking about as a possible top-ish zones, right? When we have those Fibonacci levels that show that we hit a top and we needed to retrace, and we retraced, right? So we near to the top. Are we going to be hitting for one to another cycle, or are we going to be, having that enough market cap to hit those highs? Certain conditions need to be taken, right? And the only one that is the most important is the market cap. There is no growth without growing market cap, without money jumping in, without rushing in value, right? And that value has to come somewhere, either from the stock market. So if the stock market crashes but Bitcoin remains stable, we could be seeing that, right? If gold start crumbling or having enough volatility that could match, and I'm going to do that match with quotations with Bitcoin, I think we could be seeing some of that gold volume going to Bitcoin. That could also make this possible, right? In the last one, I would say, just seeing the complete collapse of the economy, I don't think that's going to happen. But a good hit could be, the baptized by fire of Bitcoin, because if it manages to play well, better than gold, into a recession, well, then after the recession, we might be seeing more volume going out of stocks and traditional markets, maybe even out of Forex, in getting into gold and Bitcoin. In that case, we might. But in the meantime, there's just unknown, and I'm gonna be just sticking to: is it probable? No. Is it possible? Yes.
Interestingly enough, if you actually do the backwards planning, we call it reverse engineering, backwards planning. You look at that timeline ahead and then plan it backwards, right? It's what we do in the military. If we look at where we typically top out on Bitcoin in the cycle, right? Quarter three, quarter four, which I think could be a rally back up to the golden pocket, maybe 114, possibly a wick to 120, right? If we do get that move. I got to sneeze. Excuse me. Goodness, I felt it coming on. Pause for effect there. If we're looking at that timeline, right, and we're talking about this June recession start period, right, in summer, I mean 2025. So we'll say July, August when that takes effect, right, according to what they were talking about on the Apollo report. The NBER, if you guys don't know, they're nber.org. They are the entity that officially declares a recession. Okay. We don't hear from them until after. They lag by about 60 days on that call. So if we're looking at like July, August, we start the recession according to the numbers, right? And then NBER officially declares it a couple of months later. We're talking about October, right? August, September, October, which would be right in line with topping time periods where everything starts to sell off anyway. So it would be interesting to see that. And because it is a little bit, the October timeframe instead of November, December, we could easily see that that pull back that hits causes all these people that are sitting on cash, because more money is sitting in cash right now than ever in recent history, in the past decade at least. So all that cash sitting there because smart money has gotten out of the markets and they are waiting for it. There you go. National Bureau of Economic Research, James. Shout out to you, the NBER. Yep. If you are looking for what that money could be going into, I think that we will see it very quickly move into your Mag 7 stocks, real estate, and things like Bitcoin and some very strong project tokens. So if we're talking about $1 million Bitcoin, it might be a far stretch in 2028. But if you're talking about all of this money that's sitting on the sidelines right now in money market accounts, mutual funds, high yield earnings, so on and so forth, that they can then flush back into the markets when we get that recessionary driven plus the crypto winter bottoming, we could see a harsh pullback on the crypto market more than what we typically see, because of the greased rails of crypto winter on top of recessionary sell-off alignment. But we could also see all of that money go, that is so cheap, and I'm buying some of this now, right? And so really get that V-shaped recovery in 2026 that could put us on a good trajectory for that hopium-based drive to $1 million. So I just wanted to put that out there. I think that there's some really good possibilities. As I keep saying, Bitcoin has held up much better than a lot of the stock market in the recent months. And that's why I'm only focused on dollar cost averaging Bitcoin. My DCA plan, I do show all of the altcoins and what your DCA levels would be based on risk, when your profit taking should be at. But the Bitcoin one is the only one that I personally am focused on right now. And you guys, all that have the little emojis there, little symbols next to your name, meaning that you are YouTube members, you guys have access to all of that. So make sure you guys go check it out. OC, how are we looking on the altcoin side? We did get a nice bounce on Bitcoin, which I'll show you here. We got that nice bounce. Perfect there on my 382 fib that I've been talking about as our line in the sand. How are the altcoins looking right now? Let's kick it over to your chart.
Absolutely. Let's get started with Ethereum. Basically, we can see where we left out. Plan A, it is bouncing out of the dynamic reactor right now. Basically, we're doing it. The only thing that we need to understand, whether if we're going to be piercing out or not, well, then your entry should have been at that area with a risk, basically getting you already into a, and by the way, I was not able to take it into a profit zone at this point. This should have been a half of an entry right here, and we need to give it a little bit more time just to see if we're able to pierce through, retrace, and go farther back down, right? Where are we looking for the next entry? Somewhere around these areas, around 1,600. And that is because we also have this accumulation and then ranging area. Not only because of that, well, because that also creates a support zone in there. And yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, there we go, we had somewhere around there a an order block, a high order block. So I believe, and guys, this is not an analysis at this point, but I believe that Bitcoin needs to retrace a little bit and then close a candle below the range to confirm a fake out, to confirm a breakout, and then bounce. So a multi-candle bounce, right? So far, we have seen Bitcoin retracing within the same candle. That's fine. Remember, not because I said that it needs to, it will. All right, but so far I'm sticking to that analysis. And why is that? Because we are having a lot of bearish pressure in here, despite we are forming a symmetrical triangle also in our oscillator. But still, at this point, we're having, look at that, VWAP crossing, VWAP crossing, VWAP crossing, quadruple bearish divergence, peak seeker, and then we're hovering over the zero line. The only thing holding us, it is money flow. So it seems like people are buying Ethereum at those zones. So let's take a look at Litecoin here. Litecoin, we did have that breakout. Well, not actually a breakout because this is a megaphone. So we are hitting our first area of entry. Are we now on entry zones? Well, I would love to see it a little bit lower in our oscillator. But if you want to go on this entry, maybe could be a good area with a risk. So what I'm going to be looking for, it is this peak and finding an average zone there. And if you look at, I bet you that we're going to be having, there you go, a support and resistance. So I'm going to be looking for stretching it just past those areas slightly. And this is going to be 1/2 of an entry right there. Again, this is a very dangerous trade because we don't have flip of the ribbon just now. We are trying, or at this point, we already have lost an automatic trend line here, as you can see, and we're trying to get, it's not about the breakout, it's about the retest, right? Maybe head switch on your previous weekly high on your trend line automatically being plotted, and also at your negative, very, very bearish liquidity zone for a further down continuation. So far, it seems like I'm getting blocky here. This is what I see on Litecoin. Litecoin looking juicy for a couple of setup of trades.
I pump those
On
numbers up.
BNB,
Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
oh yeah. On BNB, we're losing it, and that is what we were expecting, right? Basically losing the base in here, right? Losing the dynamic reactor. We need to wait for a candle close and then a flip of the ribbon. We already have a hidden bullish divergence, which means we could be having a flip of the price action. Where at, let's take a look at it. We have a whole bunch of supports starting right here at 591, and then the next one that we already have talked about yesterday at 580. Adam is losing the symmetrical triangle or my head and shoulders lines. We're losing also the trend line that we have in here. We're waiting for the flip of the ribbon. Let me just bring up a couple of other areas. There we go. We're going to be looking for an entry somewhere around here. And then it's not about the breakout. It's about your retest, maybe on this trend line. And then maybe off we go till we fully hit this retraction area of this liquidity zone along with this support, something like that. And then maybe we can create a higher low and change of phase. And finally, XRP, we're teasing to break or to lose that support. Hopefully, we are able to hold it. It is actually happening as we were expecting, a possible fake out through the trend line, right? Why was that? Because we already had see it coming with a lot of support areas of liquidity to be grabbed, especially with this liquidity zone right here, 92% bullish liquidity. Something that did not play out as expected. It was a flip of the ribbon at the zero line. It is going through. So for an entry here, we need to be slightly lower here, trying to get that flip of the ribbon, and that will be our entry. In fact, I'm gonna get another set of alerts, one in here and one in there, and that is all that I got for altcoins, but be aware of Bitcoin, guys. If Bitcoin goes lower, remember whatever gets wicked can get candled. All right, as Piper says. So if Bitcoin gets a pullback down, well then everything else, regardless if it's bullish or bearish, it's going to get a further pullback down.
Yep. Shout out to Piano Matty B for that quote. That which gets wicked gets candlesticked. There you go. So let's go jump over to my chart. I'm watching a couple of things here for you guys. One, I want to talk about this Bitcoin dominance, guys. I know that everyone wants to see these juicy prices on alts, but as of right now, we are continuing to see a new breakout right now on Bitcoin dominance to the upside, currently coming in at about 64.75%. So Bitcoin absolutely crushing the dominance world right now against the altcoins. Matter of fact, if we go down and we take a look here just to show you ETH versus Bitcoin, Caspa versus Bitcoin, ADA versus Bitcoin, they're all in the negative today. The one thing I am watching for a pullback level, OC, is going to be the CME gap, which is still unfilled from 22 April. This is going to be coming in down here at about 91,620. We showed you on the heat map how that was looking, so there is a little bit of a level. Unfortunately, time to go. Average Crypto Joe, take care, brother. Thanks for joining us, man. I appreciate it. If you hadn't done so, smash the like on the way out. It helps us out immensely. So yeah, 91,000 there on that. But I want to talk about Tesla. Guys, my levels on Tesla for fibs, these have been on here since we hit our nice little run bounce back here in November 2024, and then topped up here back in December 2024. And the thing that I'm watching right now, is that we have this 786 that we got perfectly rejected on in line with the 200-day simple moving average. So a lot of people were talking about in the Discord about what Tesla could be doing, because it's not just crypto over there. We talk about stocks too. We are running into another level of support here, and I would watch this level, because after we retook this line, this was the line that I said to watch for massive support, and you guys can see how many times that's been hit there. This level going all the way back to being a resistance back in 2024, fall 2024. I'm watching this level right here, though, at about $267. Why is that? Because it's going to be our 887, the bottom of my platinum pocket. It's coming in line with the 50-day simple moving average. Dynamic reactors running through there. This would be a key area that I think we would see a little bit of bounce there. And we also do have the rest of this fixed of this fair value gap. You can see it started here, ended here on this wick. That is a fair value gap closer right in there also. We close the fair value gap, hit those lines of support with the 50-day simple moving average, the dynamic reactor on the 887. That might be a good little setup there for a long entry on Tesla, and then just set your stop loss back down here below on this red line. What is that red line? That red line is going to be, come in, sir. Come in. Where are you at? That red line is going to be your 300-day simple moving average. That's what that is. So be aware, be prepared, don't be scared. That's all we try to do here, is keep you guys up to date. We are about to go head over to Crypto Coin Mindset, unless you got one more thing to show here, OC. What else you got?
Well, not much really. Just looking
Okay.
at XRP, the same, and everything is red. So at this point, I'll let everything settle by looking at Bitcoin, and then when Bitcoin stop falling, I'll start looking to altcoins to catch some bounces.
Perfect. There you go. And that's how we do it. We make the money on them altcoins so that we can buy more Bitcoin, right? That's the goal here for everyone, I believe. Make your money on your alts, invest it in Bitcoin. Calls on Tesla. Yeah, calls and puts. Calls on Tesla at that level? Absolutely, man. Go for it. Crypto Trades is going to be doing some data reports, teaching, and some education, I should say. That's the word I was looking for. At the Academy, education, go figure. On options calls here in our Discord very soon. So shout out to Crypto Trades over there. And you guys are going to get access to all that for $5, man. $5. We are now running the highest value per dollar amount anywhere in the Discord world. Of course, if you want those scalp trade setups, those sneaky vicious scalp trade setups, check out Alex O Crypto. I will always promote his Discord, man, because he's killing it over there. But if you want some trade setups and you want that investment perspective for dollar cost averaging, stuff like that, and getting into options trading, just basic education, understanding how to read macro data, stuff like that, guys, go check it out. It's pretty cool. And all you got to do, click the join membership down below. Matter of fact, before we go, I'll show you guys. This is what you get right there. There you go. Piper Academy Discord for $5. You get the full DCA schedule and profit taking plan that includes weekly charts and updates. You get trade call setups from JR, Lunar Beaches Crypto. He does some. OC Guy and more. Weekly DCA, TA education with OC Guy and myself. Back to basic sessions with BC Port Corp, just breaking down look, this is the basics 101, right? And then access to like-minded community, market education, Q&A session recordings, because OC records all those damn things, and much more to come. So that is all we have time for today, guys. We're about to head over and raid Crypto Coin Mindset over there. Keith and I believe Trade Intuition are going to be live here in about 4 minutes. So when you guys get over there, drop your graduation caps. Let them know that the alumni has entered the building. And I appreciate all of you guys that joined us here today. If you haven't done so yet, smash up that like button. They're a little bit lower than our viewers right now, and this helps us immensely. You guys have no idea how much that little free 99, free to click, no KYC like button helps us out on our algorithm. We're trying to grow so we can educate as many people as possible. OC, thanks for being here today, guys. Make sure you tune in. Catch OC later tonight with Trade with OC. Live here at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tonight, markets after dark, Lunar Beaches Crypto. And tomorrow morning, BC Port Corp will be back here with Good Morning Crypto. We'll be back at 10 a.m. to break down that new economic data because it's coming at us every day this week's swing. And until then, guys, trade safe. And as always, use some risk management. It'll help you. I promise. We'll catch you guys later. Till then, guys, peace. Thanks.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels fall low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul, train ready. What a line from OCI, former Mexican spaghetti, yo. Crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Car Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. Keep that line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels fall low. Sound off to get with them, the ZTS rhythm. Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean? You can't handle the truth.
That was awesome, dude.